Talk about low-budget flights. No food or movies? I'm out of here. I like running better. Welcome back, YouTube viewers, to another video. So, my Kung Fu Panda video is one of my highest viewed videos, and I'm very proud of that one, but that one was just a 17-minute video going over the trilogy and all that stuff. So I thought that I'm going to do an individual video on each of the film in the trilogy and go over what makes them so great. So before we get into this, I'm just gonna tell you all to subscribe and like because yeah, I know everybody does that meme. 75% of my viewers aren't subscribed or whatever, but I looked at my analytics, and you don't even need to look at my analytics. Just look at my view counts compared to my subscribers. It's true, but that's not a big deal for me. But I honestly care more about likes than subscribers. But whatever. Skadoosh, and here we go. So we're gonna chapter one. Poe himself. Poe is obviously great here and the best DreamWorks protagonist. Jack Black played him so well. I don't like celebrity castings, but Jack Black did a really good job. And these days, he's more of a voice actor than a live actor, and that's all thanks to Kung Fu Panda, I'd say. He does a great job portraying Poe as this fanboy, nice, kind-hearted guy that just wants to be a kung fu master and continuously has things go wrong, but he continues to persist because he thinks that any day, as he says, would be better than being me, which is pretty sad. And by the end of the movie, he's able to learn that the secret ingredient is you. I love all the scenes he gets in this movie. At first he's thinking, yeah, he has to be, he can't be himself, but he learns from Oogway through the Peach Tree of Wisdom that, yeah, and then through the Dragon Scroll later on, and that he's only able to be trained with food because he's fat and likes to eat, which is pretty funny. I mean, I was gonna love the joke of, how did you get up there? Well, I found cookies up here. Yeah, I love Poe here. He also, yeah, he gets a lot of funny moments. He gets some good action sequence with Tai Lung at the end. People have said so many things about Poe over the years. I don't think there really is much left to be said. And I said pretty much all there was to say in my other video, so I'm just gonna move on from there. And it's like the message: the secret ingredient is you. Chapter 2, Oogway. Yoda, but he's better. Yeah, I said it. I like Oogway a lot more than Yoda. The wise old master is always a trope I really liked, and Oogway is one of my favorite examples of that trope. I mean, we all know his wisdom by now. Your mind is like this water, my friend. It becomes difficult when it's agitated, it becomes difficult to see. But if you let it settle, the answer becomes clear. And him explaining, of course, about the peaches and letting go of control to Shifu. The theme song, Oogway Ascends, and then Oogway's legacy in Kung Fu Panda 3, but we'll get to that. Oogway's great. Well, there isn't much to him, I would say. He's a very important part to the story. I mean, him telling Sheep that Tai Lung is not the Dragon Warrior is obviously super important. He's there for exposition, except it's good. He's able to give a lot of nice wisdom that helps with the character development. Oogway's great. And as I said in my last video, I always loved the line. Probably one of my favorite lines in the entire trilogy. The Dragon Warrior will not only bring peace to this valley, but peace to you. Chapter 3, Shifu and Tai Lung. It's one of cinema's greatest rivalries. Definitely the best of the 21st century, I would say. I love Shifu in this movie, and Tai Lung is definitely the best DreamWorks villain. Best animated movie villain ever. One of the best movie villain of the 21st century, which, to be fair, that's not exactly a high bar, but he's definitely great. Shifu is really interesting because, well, he found Tai Lung as a baby. He raised him as his own. And then he was telling him that you're going to be the Dragon Warrior someday, son, I guess. And then that really went to Tai Lung's head. It's pretty much just the same as Moro from Ninjago, but 7 years earlier. And yeah, that really went to Tai Lung's head. He started to get super angry when he found out he wasn't the Dragon Warrior. And then he became a psychopath and tried to kill Shifu. But Shifu just couldn't bring himself to hurt his own son, so Oogway had to stop him. And then Tai Lung got locked up in prison where he could only move his tail for 20 years until he finally escaped and went to murder Shifu. And when Shifu's beaten down by him, and he says, "I'm sorry. I I was too proud to see what you were becoming, what I was turning you into. I always like those kinds of what are they called? Epiphanies. Like they make that joke about that in the Simpsons movie. And Shifu finally has his moment of realization, except it's too late. It's been 20 years. Tai Lung will never be redeemed. I mean, fans say he could be redeemed, and maybe, but I don't know. At least in this context, he cannot be redeemed. Even though he does for a few seconds consider what Shifu says, he just doesn't care anymore. He's so obsessed with getting the power of the Dragon Scroll. And then he finds out from Poe that the Dragon Scroll is just a blank piece of paper. But while Poe is able to see his reflection in it and see that the secret ingredient is you, as I've said before, you're all that's there, but you write that paper. You improve things. All Tai Long saw was a bunch of nothing. He contrasts the theme of the story compared to the hero. Oh, and more about Shifu. Yeah, I've said before the whole peach tree of wisdom thing with the letting go of control. As he says that, um, he, Uguay tells him, you cannot choose when a peach blossoms. And he says, but I can choose when I get it because he knocks them all off the tree. And he says, ah, but when the seed falls, it will always become a peach tree. You may wish for an apple tree or an orange tree, but it will always be a peach. And he says, Master Oogway, a peach cannot defeat Tai Lung. Says, maybe not, but with the proper guidance, it can. And that's what he does. Poe is the metaphorical peach, which, I mean, that's pretty obvious, but yeah, I really loved Shifu's arc in this. And I thought he was going to die at the end, and I'm really glad he didn't. Now you can say, but he does nothing in the next few movies, which in 2, well, he's barely in it, he's still important. In 3, I think he's in it enough, and in 4, which I haven't even seen Kung Fu Panda 4, nor do I want to, but judging from what I've seen of clips, yeah, he's just there to give Poe a quest. It's a shame he declined as a character, but it's not that he ever got bad, he just hardly ever shows up these days. But you know what? I can take it. He got a great arc in the first movie, which is my favorite character arc in the entire series, so yeah, that's what really matters. Then the action, which of course this screenshot is from the best action sequence in the entire series, the bridge fight, where Tai Lung faces off against the entire Furious Five and beats them single-handedly. You should just watch if you haven't seen this in a while, just go watch the scene on YouTube. It's great. All I have to say about the action in this movie is that it's amazing how well choreographed it was. I mean, I've seen the Kung Fu Panda DVD special features. They go over how they did this. It's very impressive how they're able to pull this off, especially with the sound design. They had all these guys come in with random objects and hit them together to make different kinds of sounds. And of course, the sound design is super important to the action. And by the way, the head of the sound for this movie did Lord of the Rings and Transformers, so that really shows you how experienced the people who were working on this movie were. And the directors did such a great job, John Stevenson and Mark Osborne. Maybe I'm mixing up their last names, but yeah, they did a really good job directing all these action scenes because there's one important thing about animated movies that I never thought about until recently, which is that in an animated movie, you don't have as much time to just do retakes or whatever like in a live action movie. Animation costs money. That's why if you see a lot of deleted scenes in animated movies, they're only animatics. Sure, a few of them might get to well actually pretty much all of them are animatics. Very few of them get that far. Only I mean I'm surprised how far that one deleted scene from Kung Fu Panda 2 got with the all is well. Yeah, the action in this movie is great, of course. Also, I just like how each of the Furious Five has their own type of skill set, I suppose, all based on the different animals and they are, and the shapes they are, and the sizes. It's really nice. Then the music, composed by movie legend Hans Zimmer and some other guy who's probably famous named John Powell. Now, when I first heard of Hans Zimmer, I think he's supposed to be some kind of super famous high class movie composer. I mean, he did Pirates of the Caribbean 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's very impressive, and those movies have great music. But then you look at his credits and you see just how many animated movies he's done, and well, don't get me wrong, he's done a great job. It just makes you think that is this guy have some kind of contract with DreamWorks, or are they forcing him to do this? Maybe they've got a gun to his head. Okay, I joke, but he and John Powell as well. John Powell did the music for How to Train Your Dragon, which I saw for the first time recently. Did a very good job on that movie. But the music in this movie is great, much like Pirates of the Caribbean. It takes a already really good movie and makes it super exciting. Oogway Ascends, that's a great theme. The hero theme, the bridge music, Tai Lung's theme. Uh, that's just a few of the themes. Or the Peach Tree of Wisdom, the Sacred Pool of Tears. All of it is so good. Because yeah, a lot of modern movies these days, the music is just boring. I mean, and you know that people who make the who vote for the Oscars are pretty stupid if they won't give Hans Zimmer and John Powell awards for Kung Fu Panda. Why? Because it's an animated movie. That's so ridiculous. Or how John Williams, okay, brief tangent, is the most nominated guy in the history of the Oscars. He's only won it 4 times. He's John Williams. He should be getting it every year. Well, except for the years Kung Fu Panda movies came out, but yeah. So yeah, the music in these movies is great. I also really like Kung Fu Fighting, which this actually is pretty similar to the original version from the 70s. They didn't do a super new remake of it, which I appreciate. Well, that's all I gotta say for this video. So my just quick questions are, what do you think of Kung Fu Panda 1? Do you think it's the best movie in the series? Do you think it's as genius as it was when you first saw it, whenever you first saw it? And so yeah, you can see me on Casting Call Club. The link is on the channel's homepage in the comment section when this goes up. So that's all for now. And as always, keep on juicing.